Hi, I'm Lindsay Bishop, the Training and Media Associate at Westchester University, and this is 8 strategies to maximize your email communications. Your email is a direct reflection of you. Every email you send can add to or detract from your reputation. If your email is scattered, unorganized, and filled with mistakes, recipients may perceive you as a disorganized and careless person. The perception others have of you is critical to your success, so it's important to understand the do's and don'ts of email communications in order to avoid sabotaging your reputation both personally and professionally. Today we're going to go over 8 strategies to maximize your email communication. The first step is to decide how to respond. Toby Rueckert, the founder and CEO of Unified Inbox, created a 5D framework for email management that can help you sort your emails as they come through rather than letting them pile up over time. So the first one is delete. Delete any unwanted spam or junk mail as they come in. Distribute. Is the information something that would be useful or important for others to read? If so, forward it and include an explanation of why you think they should read it too. But make sure you check all the content before hitting that send button. Delegate. Does the information need to be delegated to someone else? Maybe someone emailed you about a concern that's not your area of expertise. Instead of ignoring it, forward it to the person who can best address the information and copy the sender so they can get in touch with the right person. If you were the right recipient but cannot address the email in the appropriate time or manner, delegate it to someone who can. Defer. Does the email need to be addressed right away, or can the information wait? If the information does not need immediate attention, don't distract yourself from tasks at hand, and prioritize emails that require quicker responses. But make sure you don't lose sight of the email. We'll talk more about response times later on. And the last one, deal. If the information does need immediate attention or action, or if it requires a response that won't take up much of your time, deal with it right away so you don't lose sight of it later on. Once you decide how you're going to respond, it's important to be clear in your subject line. The subject line should never be empty. It should be clear, to the point, and describe what the topic is you're emailing about so that recipients know what they're opening and can filter and respond appropriately. Watch for vague subject lines such as follow up or open me, and also avoid symbols such as the ampersand and the hashtag to avoid being mistaken for spam. Also, never open an old email chain and hit reply to send a message that has nothing to do with the previous one. Always change the subject as soon as the content of the email changes. This will make it easier to filter through different conversations. Number 3, know your audience. Your message, including your greeting and sign-off, should be consistent with the level of respect and formality of the person you're communicating with. If someone tends to be more polite and formal, write in that language. And same goes for someone who tends to be more informal and relaxed. Also include a brief introduction to yourself. This may not be the case for those you know more closely or are in contact with on a regular basis. But if you're writing to someone new or someone you haven't been in contact with for a while, never assume that that person knows who you are or remembers meeting you. If you're uncertain whether the recipient would recognize you, include a simple reminder for them. This doesn't mean you have to include an in-depth biography. A simple one-sentence reminder of who you are and/or your relationship to the person you're writing to will trigger their memory and create a path for a more personal communication. For example, if I met someone at a conference a week ago and wanted to follow up with them, I would include a brief introduction such as, "Hi, I'm Lindsay Bishop from Westchester University. We met last week at the Talent Management Conference, and I wanted to follow up with you on our conversation about so-and-so." Likewise, even if you know the person, maybe they're a colleague, but it's been quite some time since you last spoke to them, a brief reminder such as, "Hi, it's Lindsay Bishop from the Office of Training and Organizational Development. It's been a while since the staff retreat we facilitated last August. I hope you're doing well." Something that's going to trigger their memory. Number 4 is always include a signature. Your signature is a great way to let people know more about you. The receiver should never have to look up how to get in touch with you. Include your full name, title, company if not included in your email address, phone number, and website if you have one. Also include any social media information. So as you can see here, here's an example of my signature that I include on all of my emails. Number 5 is only discuss public matters. Think about whether the topic is a public matter or one that should be discussed behind closed doors. Email is often not the place to discuss policies or conflict, so first think about whether the information is appropriate for email or not. This is especially critical if you're discussing confidential information. Should an email get in the wrong person's hands, you could face serious, sometimes legal, repercussions. And lastly, be aware of the all users or reply all. Make sure you're sending the right email to the right person so information does not fall into the wrong hands. Strategy 6 is to proofread before you hit send. Oftentimes, people write emails in a hurry, leading to poor grammar and sometimes even lost emails. It's important to check for any spelling errors or word mix-ups. Otherwise, you risk your reputation as the recipient may perceive you as careless and unprofessional. Don't use too many exclamation points. 1 exclamation point per email should suffice and keep you from looking childish or unprofessional. Refrain from using jargon, slang, or shortcuts to words, for example, the number 4 instead of FOR 4. Never use all caps. I bet you read that as if I were yelling at you, and this is how an email in all caps will likely be read. And also leave out the fluff or any parts that people can skip. Only provide important and necessary information. Also ensure that any attachments have a brief, logical name so the recipient knows exactly what it is they're about to view. And lastly, check the recipient's email to ensure it's going to the right person. It's easy to type the first few letters of an email address and wind up with an unintended recipient. Again, beware of the reply all. Don't hit reply all on a list of recipients unless every member on that chain needs to see your input. Number 7, respond in a timely manner. This is not to say you need to be available the instant an email arrives. If there is an emergency or someone needed to get a hold of you immediately, they would pick up the phone. Make sure you double check your department's email response policy, but 24 to 48 hours is usually an acceptable window to respond. Anything over that can make you look careless and inconsiderate. Not to mention, your emails could pile up and you may forget to answer altogether. If, however, you are sending an email that must be addressed quickly, make it clear in the email that you need them to follow up by a certain day or time. If you don't need a reply, add no reply necessary at the end of your message. Last but not least, strategy 8, clean up your inbox. Delete junk mail. Unsubscribe to any spam or email chains you don't want to receive. This will save you time opening and deleting those emails daily and allow the right messages to be coming to your inbox. Commit some time at the beginning of every morning and the end of each day to respond to any unanswered emails. If you don't have time to respond to an email right away, create a take action folder or simply flag the email you need to address and clean those out daily so that you don't forget to respond to important emails. Also, filter emails into subfolders. Ever want to refer to an email but can't find it in your endless inbox? Filter the email into an appropriate folder with key search words that will allow you to easily reference it later on. And last, delete any email chains. If you need one for reference, only keep the last email in the chain that includes all previous responses. Now that we've discussed all 8 strategies, think about what you will start, stop, and continue to do in order to have more organized and effective email communications. We hope you enjoyed the program. As always, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Scott Sherman, the Director of Organizational Development, with any feedback about the program or if you'd like to talk more about maximizing your email strategies.